Hi, I'm Josh,
And I'm Chuck.
and welcome to this case project video presentation on the eBay breach of 2014. We will begin by quickly summarizing the report. In 2014, eBay's corporate network was breached by threat actors who gained entry to the network using stolen login credentials. The employee login credentials were stolen through a social engineering/phishing attack. During the months that criminals had access to eBay's network, they gained access to the information of millions of eBay customers. The stolen customer data included encrypted passwords, their names, their date of birth, their email addresses, as well as their physical addresses. The impact of the breach was reported minimal when compared to other high profile breaches. eBay's customer activity remained normal, yet eBay did have to hire at an undisclosed cost a third party security firm to help with the breach investigation. However, eBay's customers did lose trust in eBay's ability to secure their personal information. To prevent these types of embarrassing social engineering/phishing scams from affecting our organization, we recommend implementing the following steps. Number one, deploy web content and email filtering software. Number two, maintain a strong employee password policy. Number three, utilize multi-factor authentication for companies' login processes using text messages and hardware tokens to generate login pins. Number four, initiate a training and practice program to teach employees on how to properly identify and react to social engineering/phishing scams. By utilizing these simple steps, we will be more fully equipped and prepared to defend our corporate network, keep our customer data secure, and maintain customer confidence in our organization. Now, moving on to the detailed report, different forms of social engineering were employed in the attack. As we stated before, phishing attack was the most successfully used attack form, which compromised three eBay employee accounts. Fraudulent emails and telephone calls were used to trick company employees into giving up their login credentials. Attackers will often pose as the company's help desk department to gain trust. And an FBI forensics expert, Daniel Clemens, suggested that it would be best to hold off giving up investigation information so as to not tip off hackers. That way they don't close any back doors that they still have in eBay systems. Hackers had access to eBay systems for nearly a month before discovery. Enough sensitive information was stolen for a single user to commit fraud. Now for the long-term impact, stolen information includes where the customer lives, the customer names, passwords. The passwords were encrypted, but time and resources are the only thing needed to bypass encryption. Their emails were stolen, their phone numbers were stolen, as well as their date of birth. All of this information stolen is detrimental not only to eBay's network, but to other networks as well. Many customers use the same login credentials across many different accounts across the internet. Imagine if stolen information was used on a website such as TurboTax. A hacker could gain access to a victim's social security number as well as their financial information, and this goes for any website that handles finances. Now I'll send it over to Chuck for the defensive recommendations.
Thanks, Josh. To help ensure that great agents or threat agents can't steal our employee network login credentials through social engineering or phishing attacks, we recommend implementing the following countermeasures. 1. Install web content and email filtering. 2. Implement a strong password policy to ensure the passwords are not only difficult to decrypt, but are also original and not used on any other employee accounts. 3. Deploy two-factor authentication to further protect the company from unauthorized login. And 4. To initiate employee training programs to inform employees of company policy and teach them how to recognize and correctly respond to a social engineering or phishing attack. Let's look at each one with a little more detail. First, web content and email filter. We will install web content email filtering protections on employee computers. These are software appliances such as ForcePoint Web Security, McAfee Web Protection, SolarWinds Mail Assure, and Spam Titan. This software will supply a frontline protection against employees accidentally being redirected to websites with malicious content and help keep email accounts from receiving messages designed to trick employees into providing login credentials to online thieves. Next, strong password policy. A strong password policy The policy should include a password length of 20 characters and must be rotated out every 6 months. Passwords will also be checked against the password history database, which will ensure password originality. Implement two-factor authentication into login process. Two-factor authentication requires that in order for a user to be authenticated, they must have an account name, password, and an additional factor of a randomly generated number that is only valid for a small amount of time. Each additional login attempt requires a new random number. This helps ensure that even if employee login credentials are stolen, threat agents still need the PIN number to access the company's network. This number is also much more difficult to obtain. To reduce cost and ease in the distribution of the PINs, cellular text messages will be used as well as secure hardware token devices. Employee training. Deploy an employee training program on how to correctly respond to social engineering attacks and phishing attacks. During these biannual trainings, employees will be instructed on company policies and how to respond to attacks. Employees will then practice the correct procedure through mock simulations. Periodic surprise simulations should be performed throughout the year to ensure employees are implementing company policies. To conclude, eBay's network was breached by a social engineering / phishing attack. 3 employee credentials were stolen and used to access eBay's corporate network. Personal customer information was stolen, which included encrypted passwords, names, dates of birth, and home addresses. This is enough information for further fraud against eBay's customers to take place. Due to this breach, eBay required that millions of eBay customers change their passwords. Customers lost confidence that eBay was capable of keeping their personal information secure. We can protect our organization from these types of attacks by taking the following action. Install web content and email filtering to protect employees from being redirected to malicious websites. Implement a strong password policy to ensure that passwords are not only difficult to decrypt, but also original and not used on any other employee account. Deploy two-factor authentication to further protect the company from unauthorized login. If login credentials are stolen, threat agents still need the access PIN. And initiate employee training programs to inform employees of company policy and teach them how to recognize and correctly respond to a social engineering or phishing attack. And that's all for now. Thanks for watching.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
Bye-bye.